After the success of my DC-9 RC EDF airliner last year, I decided to salvage a power system and build something with a similar structure, but a little larger. I see Air Canada Jazz's CRJs fly over daily, so I thought it would be a good choice. I started the tail section build with a horizontal stab, which is simply a 6mm piece of Depron with a basewood spar running through the middle. The elevator is a sand down and will be hinged with some new foam hinges I'm trying out. I made the vertical stabilizer in a similar fashion with some foam sandwiched together to create an airfoil. The fuselage assembly started with the main section skin, which I rolled with a large tubular piece of foam I found. I cut out and used foam formers and a carbon fiber rod to keep the internal structure nice and light. Okay, here in front of me I got the Acquitted main fuselage structure. I started off with a 6mm former joiner, or spar. I reinforced it with a carbon rod. The carbon rod goes back here to the rear end of the fuselage because that's where the engine pylon mount is going to be. And this will transfer the load of the EDFs into the main wing box on the back. That's where the dowels go. On this side, that's where the build plate will go. So it's ready to be skinned. Just add the glue on all the sides and pin it down. I also added a battery mount structure right here. Because the main spar is so high, it'd be kind of hard to get the battery in there. So I just glue some foam and put it up here. And when I got everything skinned, the plane's ready to go, I'll create a hatch and the battery will go right here. Alright, once I finished applying the center section skin, I moved on to the nose, which is basically a large-scale paper model built with foam. I take special care in adding the nose gear mount, because a weak gear mount always ruins a good day of flying. I also made the tip out of balsa to help prevent hanger rash. With the nose complete, I moved back towards the tail, which was a straightforward process, except for the EDF pylon mount. To ensure a strong bond to the fuselage, I epoxied the balsa pylon to the carbon fiber rod and the outer skin panels. The very last part of the tail has a plywood plate underneath it for the vertical stabilizer mount. A problem I've had on every single one of my builds is really bad nose gear mounts due to the grass field I fly off. So I made sure that it's not going to come off this time by attaching the mount to several hard points on the side. Now it's really sturdy. And so is the EDF mount back here. It's attached to the carbon fiber rod and the fuselage as you saw. That transfers the load in the wing box. Now the fuselage is done, we can go ahead and start the wings. I cut both wing halves out of 2mm Depron and glued them onto a small center section that will attach to the fuselage. Then, I glued on two central spars, one out of foam and the other out of the densest balsa I had. The simple cork wire airfoil I used on my DC-9 worked well, so I scaled the correct sizes in Microsoft Word and cut the ribs out of foam. The next week or so of work I did on the wings included the long and boring process of measuring, cutting, and gluing on the numerous spars which you will see in this slideshow. In this wing I'm using a total of 4 flap servos and 2 aileron servos, which I screwed into a balsa block and glued on the wing, and then I created some simple rail mounts for the 2 retract servos which will go on later. I've got the left wing sheeting drying right now. The airfoil is looking pretty good. Just gotta sand the leading edge when both of them are sheeted. That's for part 1. Next part I'll of course finish the wings, get it attached to the fuselage, and hopefully get the EDFs on.